Oh, speaking of sexy ladies, how far would you go? Do you stop at DC Def, or can you go all the way to Marvel Def?
Like, in terms of me being attracted to them,
Well, yeah.
you gotta be more. You have to be closer to human than not for me to be attracted to you. Let me put it that way.
Okay. Well, apparently, Marvel Def has tits underneath her robe. So, like, I don't know what's going on because she looks pretty skeletal, but that is strange, is all I'm gonna say.
I'd be like that sometimes.
You ever just have the skeletons?
Skeletons. Okay.
I mean, what else are you gonna call it? Like, every part of her body that's showing is a skeleton, but underneath the robes, it's obvious that they just drew a normal ass busty woman. Literally. I'm not exaggerating here.
So, I don't think you've ever played this game, but have you ever heard of Divinity Dragon?
I have not.
Okay, so essentially, this is taking place in the Divinity universe a couple thousand years ago. The ancient wizard Maxos, who I believe in the second game you see his head, and that's the gates to the afterlife, which is a thing for some reason. I don't know why his head is the gates to the afterlife, but let's not get into that part. So, in Divinity Dragon Commander, he's like one of your advisors, and you're the last dragon. Like the last dragon guy who turns into dragons and humans, who can be a dragon or a human. I forget what it's called. Dragon Knight? Dragon Knight, I think it's Dragon Knight. You're the last Dragon Knight. You eventually repopulate the Dragon Knights or some bullshit, so that's a thing. But, so like, because of this position... No! Okay, I remember. You are currently in a civil war because your father, the King of the Dragon Knights, just dipped. And you and your siblings are basically fighting for the throne and rule of the entire fucking world, because what is anyone gonna do? You're a dragon. And you being of royal birth means that you have to get a concubine, or a wife rather, at the start of the game. And you can pick between a dwarf, an elf, a lizard woman, or a skeleton.
Do you have kids with the skeleton?
I don't believe you're capable of it,
Man.
but that depends on which path you go down. Because it's sort of like a weird dating sim, but not really, because you're already married, so there's no dating. But each of your wives has their own storyline that plays alongside the actual main story of doing real-time strategy games, sort of like... Not exactly like StarCraft, but I think that's the closest thing I can think of off the top of my head, so we'll go with that. And with the skeleton lady, she was a human before, and then she just fucking died. And then when she revived as a skeleton, because that's just a thing that happens to some people in the Divinity universe, and that's the undead race. I believe some of them are sentient and some of them are not.
Man.
When she revived, she had a degenerative bone disease, which is a thing that happens to some undead. Which means that you marry her, and not only are you marrying a dead woman, you're marrying a double dead woman, because she's just gonna die again.
Man.
As opposed to being immortal, or really, really long living. But you can save her! Oh, by the way, there was supposed to originally be a fifth option for wife that was going to be an imp, but she blew herself up in transport. Which is the in-story, it's just the in-universe explanation of the devs didn't have enough time to add her.
Blew herself up.
But you can talk to... Yeah, so the imps are like really techie, tinkering kind of people. They also created nukes.
Oh. Damn. Oh, so like, they're like, to that world, what gnomes are in the D&D world.
Or like dwarves and Norse myth, whatever.
Yeah. Or goblins in Warcraft, you know. The list goes on.
Whatever you want to call it. So, you talk to him, and he can be like, "Oh, shit, I heard that you were having trouble with your wife. What with the fact that she's completely sexually incompatible with you, and also going to die." And he's like, I could fix that problem for you. And you're like, what? How? I could build her a new body. And you're like, what? How? I can just make her a robot. And you're like, what? How? It doesn't matter how, but I can do it. Do you want me to do it? And that's one of your options. I never picked that path when I had the skeleton wife, because I thought,
You just let her die?
no. The other path is she will do research on her own to find a way to not fucking die. And something she comes to, and no, not something she comes to, somebody finds out about this because she's doing research into it. She's looking into it, she's putting out feelers for it, and somebody finds out, oh, this fucking king, his wife is dying because of degenerative bone loss. This alchemist dude is like, hey, I can heal your wife, but what that'll mean is I'll have to turn her back into a living being. So he turns her human again, which is probably the ideal since you're a monarch and you need to have kids. But he's like, hey, look, if I do this, I want one of two things from you. You can pick. Either you pay me 10,000 or 10 million gold, or you let me sleep with your wife after I finish making it. After I finish making her new body.
You're just gonna ask the king if you can cuck him.
Literally, I'm gonna make my perfect woman, and I'm going to give her to you. Perfect woman, physically speaking, I'm gonna give her to you. The least you can let me do for saving your wife's life is just let me get my beak wet, right?
But he could just do it to someone else. He wants it to be a queen. This is on him, man.
I mean, yeah, definitely.
He could have just gone down to whatever the undead version of Chinatown is, and picked literally any other degenerative bone disease girl. But no, he wanted the queen.
I mean, maybe he tried and no one else was willing, so he was like, fuck it, I'll just ask you. I'm pretty sure
I would literally rather die to degenerative bone disease than sleep with you.
No, so if I'm remembering correctly, the undead are really prideful about the fact that they're undead. Because being undead is essentially being chosen by the gods to have a semi-immortal life after you die. And that's why they're really prideful about it. So, it might literally just be that, religiously speaking, they wouldn't go for that because it would be going against everything they believe in, being undead.
Man.
Not necessarily, oh, I would never sleep with you, strange human who could save my life, but more so, I would be dishonoring the gods themselves, which literally exist unambiguously in this world.
Man, imagine.
Oh, if you choose the money option, it's just like, oh yeah, he fucking left with his barrels and barrels of gold. And if you choose the other option, she comes to you and she's like, yeah, so he tried to sleep with me, but I just drugged his wine and knocked him the fuck out. And when I did, I was like, no, only the dragon gets this pussy. Not exactly what she said, but literally she said, my body is only for my husband, and then knocks him out, is essentially... No idea if that's true or not, because obviously they wouldn't show that on screen, but from that point on, she basically wears robes and doesn't put on clothes. Which is what she was basically wearing as a skeleton, so... That's a thing. Cheesecake, what you're used to, I don't know.
Okay, so she's like, man, I got used to the whole just wearing robes thing. I'm not going back now.
I'm too far gone. I'm never putting on clothes again. What do you mean I have to wear a dress or pants? I'm just gonna stand here with my tits out. By the way, this was years ago that I'm playing, so I might have gotten some factors wrong in that story, but it's good enough. You get the gist of it.
Yeah. Nudist beach.
Nothing wrong with being naked. If anyone tells you there's something wrong with being naked, they're wrong.
The funny part about Nudist Beach from Kill la Kill, that just swerve real fast here, is at the end of the show, after like all the live fibers get blown up, and then like they say like we can finally wear clothes again. It's like, oh, you guys weren't just like actually nudists. That's crazy.
In your dream, you sit beside a fire in a great hall, surrounded by the chatter of familiar voices. I didn't get to read the second half because I wanted to take a drink while sleeping.
Like, what if you were a nudist? Not because you just, felt good that way, but because you fundamentally were at war with clothes.
I'm sorry, I don't understand the question. Could you rephrase the question as a haiku?
What if nudist was you, but not because of joy,
I'm
but
gonna
not...
stop you right there. The first one was 6 syllables.
Fuck! What if you were nude, but not
That was 5.
because of your joy, but because of war? That took too long.
I'm pretty sure it's 757, not 575. But
No, it's 575.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah, there was a fucking VeggieTales bit about it, which is the embarrassing reason for me to remember it, but, whatever.
It's like everything you remember is because of VeggieTales.
I know! There was also a fucking Time Warp Trio book about it, but no, it's VeggieTales.
Wait, Time Warp Trio? What?
Oh, you don't know about the Time Warp Trio? That's like moderately okay shit, man.
Okay, so like, is this a children's book?
It's a children's book that got turned into a TV series that I never actually watched the TV series of.
Okay, so as far as time-traveling kids shows go, or series rather, the most I know is the Magic Treehouse.
Oh, that was pretty good too. Although, my favorite one of the Magic Shows was when they went back to King Arthur times, which was definitely not, time travel. But, since Morgana Lee Fey was literally the reason for the treehouse, I guess there's some room for debate there, but,
Wait, no, wasn't Merlin the reason for the treehouse and he was fighting Morgana and the kids helped somehow because...
No. Morgan did the treehouse first, and then in the second, that was the first box of shit. Hang on a minute. It's been too long. I'm gonna pull up a Wikipedia article. Morgan was a good girl I wanted to say good guy, but it didn't sound right, but good girl sounds worse, so never mind. Morgan was a hero in Magic Treehouse. I remember that for a fact.
I mean, she was also a hero in the original NIFs. Or not even a hero, she just wasn't evil in the original NIFs.
I mean, yeah, but she had sex with King Arthur, her fucking cousin, to bring about the destruction of Camelot. It's not exactly what I would call a heroic thing.
Yeah, but that was a later ad. She wasn't related to him at all in the original.
Oh yeah. Oh, was it the Lancelot guy? Did he do that too?
I don't know. That dude can, he can fuck right off. He's already dead, but he can...
I gotta defend him here. Lancelot's one of the more interesting parts of the King Arthur mythos.
I mean, there's definitely narrative depth added there, but at the same time, I was never particularly impressed with Lancelot.
Oh no, I don't like how he's the best guy who ever did anything, but at least he changes the King Arthur mythos from we are good heroic people doing good heroic things to, yeah, we're a bunch of really superpowered people and sometimes we abuse our powers. What are you gonna do about it?
That is not exactly what happened, but okay.
I mean, Oh shit. Jack and Annie Smith from the Magic Treehouse are from Pennsylvania. Fuck. That's crazy.
Oh my god. Imagine being from Pennsylvania, that's insane. Bad things happen in Philadelphia.
Really do, don't they?
When I heard that, I literally just sat there thinking to myself, what, like bad things happen everywhere. What do you even mean?
I don't know what you're talking about, man. I live on Mercury, and nothing bad ever happens here.
Besides all the mercury.
Oh, also, nothing bad ever happens to the Kennedys.
Okay. Oh, fire.
Oh shit, yeah. Okay, so in the first batch of 28 books, it's Morgan. And then starting with book 29, it's Merlin. And Merlin just fucking dicks around with the kids. Like, he fucks with them all the
That's
time.
not how I would have phrased that, but okay.
You know what I mean. I don't mean it in the he should be arrested kind of way. I mean it in the he's messing with them kind of way.
I mean, he probably should be arrested, to be fair. Okay, have you ever heard of the Lost Years of Merlin series?
Hang on. Is that the one where he, like, fucking meets... where he figures out what's gonna happen before it happens, then he, like, ends up having to do it anyway, and I forgot if he get mind wiped or he just did it anyway.
I don't know what to do with that statement.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so this is basically some guy was like, "Oh yeah, like Merlin's a pretty cool character, but just like Jesus, he doesn't have any of his childhood really laid out in the myths. I can just write something about that complete blank space."
Oh, I did read this. Oh my god. You want to know what's fucking wacky?
Okay.
I read this before I knew anything about the King Arthur mythos. So, like, imagine that.
I read this when I was first learning about the King Arthur mythos, when I was a kid. This is around the time when I first really went from no ability to read whatsoever to, oh, I can actually read now, and it's kind of cool. So, alright, so, like, Merlin eventually gets fucked up in the mythos, and I think this is a later ad when they actually start Christianizing it. Because he really starts to like this one girl. But she doesn't like him, because at this point he's really old, and also he's part demon, and also just dude, stop, please stop. I don't appreciate your advances, you're being incredibly persistent. Please stop. Oh, you won't stop? Would you mind just teaching me magic, right? And then he teaches her magic, and then she seals him away with the magic that she learns from him.
Okay, it is.
Huh?
I was wondering if it was Nimue. Minue, however you pronounce her damn name, but it is. Yeah.
Isn't that the Lady of the Lake? Or is that Nimue?
No. I don't know what the fuck her name is, but I remember
I think it's Nimue. I can't remember the pronunciation, but like
yeah.
I can sort of see the spelling in my head when I think about it. If that makes sense.
I gotcha. Because I remember reading that damn Merlin series, and he comes across that lady, like, before he's supposed to meet her, and she just fucking hates him. And he's like, what the fuck did I do?
Okay, well, the reason I bring this up is partially because of this. It's literally entirely because of this lady, and it's because in the series, right? He's at some point goes into the future, meets his future self, and finds out that his future self is locked in a cave, and he asks himself, "Hey, why are you locked in a cave?" And his future self is like, "I don't want to tell you because then it might change the past, what you might do." And I couldn't help but think about this later on when I had learned why he was locked in the cave, why he was, like, trapped, right? Because he was basically being an old creeper to some young girl, and I couldn't help but think, why didn't you just tell your younger self not to be a fucking chode and let no be the answer that you gave, that you took? Like, literally, all of this could have been avoided if you would have just kept it in your pants and stopped acting like a total dickhead.
Well, you can't change the past, man. Like, I think that was the whole thing, was that, like, Merlin basically figures out that King Arthur is going to get fucked, but he can't do anything about it because time in those myths is, like, even worse than in fucking Star Trek, because, like, it's based on that old Greek concept of the fates, and, like, you just cannot. It will just get worse if you try to mess with it.
Let me hit the thing. I don't remember, but like, I always thought it was weird. Like, just just tell your younger self that you're a total fucking creep when you get older. Tell him to stay on the island, continue dating his weird deer girlfriend, and just let it be. You like having wings? Just keep your wings, bro.
Okay, so the Lady of the Lake is Nimue, and I'm skimming this article because it's a lot of just because there's no standardized spelling for these names. It's like here are like 500 different ways to spell this damn name.
Yeah, that's definitely not the best. Alright.
Well, you know, like that was back in the time. Like Merlin's also Myrdin. You know, like originally.
Ouch. Ouch to that spelling. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's how it goes, man. Like
I'm
the
just
farther
gonna,
back.
I'm gonna leave this hole here.
All right.
I don't want to deal with it. I don't fucking care. I'm just gonna go find. I'm gonna go build a shield. Actually, I'm gonna go build a shield. Then I'm gonna go find a dungeon. Then I'm gonna go fight some undead. I'm gonna find some Surtling cores. At least 10. I'm gonna build a furnace. I'm gonna build a forge. And that's gonna be it.
All right. Just that. Okay. The Beguiling of Merlin by Edward Burne-Jones.
I have the books right over there. I'm gonna take a look. I don't have to get up. The scissors.
That's a polite way of phrasing it. In chivalric romance tradition, Merlin has a major weakness that leads him to his relatively early doom. Young, beautiful women of femme fatale archetype. Very polite way of saying the man can't keep it in his pants.
Every time I see, like, a hero, or at the very least, a protagonistic character brought down by... I just couldn't keep it in my pants. I, like, internally cringe. I hate it.
Hey, sometimes that's how it goes. That's literally what happens to Guinevere. It's funny then. I like it then. It's just funny. Also, we're going back to that whole Fate thing. It's even better in Fate because it's literally just like, oh man, my husband is not a man. My husband's a woman. There's no dick here. I guess I'll just go find some dick somewhere else.
That's probably the only time that change in the story really does anything for the story. Come to think of it.
No, you're gonna get mad now. It's explicitly said that Artoria would have been totally cool with Lancelot cucking her. And in fact, she let Lancelot cuck her. But because she let Lancelot cuck her and didn't say anything about it to him, Lancelot got so fucking mad because he thought that Artoria was being all holier than thou at him. And that's why the Camelot Fall happened.
Yeah, so I already know that part.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, so I saw Fate Zero, and then, like, he more or less explains it.
Yeah, he does. It's hilarious. It's just like, damn.
You think you're better than you think you really think you're better than is that what you're saying? You think you're better than
It's the best because it was so close to being like a dysfunctional but working relationship of like, yeah, I'm married to the king who doesn't have a dick. I get my dick on the side. It all works out.
I believe the term you're looking for is polyamory.
Is it polyamory? I think it's just good old-fashioned cucking.
If they're all cool with it, it's polyamory. But I was making it. I was doing the overly sarcastic joke where they called it a polyarmory.
Well, yeah, I understand, but like, Artoria's not getting anything out of this. So like, and officially, Guinevere is married to Artoria, and they can't like talk about it at all, like Lancelot thing. So like, what I'm saying is like, if it wasn't for the fact that Artoria does not have good communication skills because no one taught that girl anything about running the country and she has some pretty fucked up ideas, it could have all worked out pretty well. They could have had it all.
Like, if people just talk, it solves so many problems in fiction.
Yeah. Like, not to go off on yet another Fate tangent. Sorry, viewers who don't watch Fate. Like, when I first watched Fate Zero, the part where Iskandar called Arturia out bugged me, and I didn't know why. But then the second time through, I'm like, you know what? No, Iskandar's right. Arturia's fucked up in the head, and she probably needs someone to call her out. But I don't like that it's Iskandar doing it, because that guy literally just fucking conquered everyone, and like is objectively kind of worse than Arturia in that way. But he's right in that like he's basically the fundamental problem with that whole scene is that like monarchy is a shit system of government. Like, sorry to pull out the hot takes right now. I know. But Iskandar is right in that, like, you cannot actually, as a person, be an objectively perfect monarch without, like, fucking yourself up internally. And so Iskandar's solution is, like, fuck it, I'm king, I get to do some fun shit. And Arturia's like, wait, that sounds kind of wrong. Shouldn't I be, like, the perfect person? He's like, you can't do that, though. And so, like, the obvious problem here is that you just shouldn't have kings. But, like, Iskandar's right, but he's wrong.
I don't know. I think Iskandar was the perfect person to bring this up. Although, something that I really liked about this Summit of Kings and Arturia, because, again, not my king. Something that I liked was, like, Gilgamesh is like, it's my world, you're just living in it.
Yeah.
And Iskandar is like, why am I calling him that? Let me just call him Alexander, like the American that I am. And he's just like, all right, cool, it's your world. Well, I hope you don't mind me taking it by the reins and just riding it by the horns and all that shit. And like Gilgamesh is just like, man, you really cool with just saying it's mine? And he's like, yeah, I'm a conqueror. I'm taking this shit. Like, a buddy cop movie between those two would be good.
I mean, that'd be interesting. I don't know if Gilgamesh has the fucking temperament for it. He has that ego, man.
It's the opposing temperaments that make it work.
Oh yeah, but I mean, like, I feel like Gilgamesh would stop halfway through a buddy cop routine and just fucking throw spears at the other guy.